So I've opened up the meeting now. Now, let's go back over into the announcements, okay? If you look, yeah, have a couple of people who've joined, okay? Matt, Michael, where are you? Matt, Michael, you good? Okay. Now, there's an invitation here to Zoom meeting 12919. Okay. Click on that, and it will give you the way to beam into the meeting and join it. This is like a webinar kind of thing. Okay. You with me? And you can join it using your tablet. If you've got that, you can use a phone. I don't suggest it, but you can. A laptop, or if you have a tower, a large machine like behind here. But regardless, you can get in on just about every device. And once you're in, then you're going to be seeing what's on my screen. Okay? And you're going to have to do that in the lab in here, because what's happened is they're only set up for Apple AirPlay, and I'm obviously a PC junkie. But it's also nice. Now, one of the things you don't have to worry about is missing anything in a class, because I record my class sessions. Now, what I'm doing right now is I'm running an application. It's called Zoom. It's like a webinar type of tool. Some of you have probably been in some of those. And I'm recording this. When I'm through recording, I'll process it, and then I'll take it to YouTube, dump it up there, and create a YouTube video, and then I'll post a link to the YouTube video. Fair enough? Makes sense? And I'll always post the link to that recording of that class session in the announcements area. So you won't ever have to miss anything. So if you show up late, you don't have to worry. If you have to leave early, you don't have to worry. It's there for you to see, because it'll be recorded. And YouTube, it's like any other video there. You can scroll forward, scroll back. You can get a transcript. And so I'll have that. So the issue of I couldn't make it to the room that day you don't have to worry about that anymore. Fair enough? Yeah? Now, if you're sharing the screen, if you're being in right now, you're going to see I got 10 people. Well, you may not see that, but I get questions from people, right? And click on that. I want to mute that. And I'll mute that guy. Hopefully. Okay. Now, if you have a phone or anything like that, or you're using your own computer, please mute it. Make sure your sound's muted in these and here as well, or you'll get that kind of echo effect. Now, I've got 10 so far. I know there's more than 10, but some is still logging in, and you'll see that invitation to Zoom meeting 129. Okay? Don't worry about missing something, because I'll post the video over at YouTube after I process today, so you can always go back and catch up. Okay? Because I know, those kinds of things will happen. People show up earlier, they leave, this or that. All right, now I'm going to click on the announcements here. It's on the left side. And you'll notice I also have an invitation to the Zoom meeting for the 31st. That's Thursday. Okay? I'll be back here Thursday, and we'll have a class session again. This one I'm trying to kind of get you used to using Canvas if you haven't used it. Get you, help you understand some of the format in the class and why I'm doing what I'm doing. Okay? Fair enough? All right. Now, as you scroll down, you're going to see a thing scheduled for Dr. Keith Harmon, blah, blah, blah. Every week, I'll give you my schedule. If you go to my office in BBC 236, which is right across over there, you'll see I have kind of a general office hours thing posted. I will always post on my door my office hours, and I'll for that week, because things can change and vary. Okay, and I'll also post them over here. And if you have a question or something like that, you know, you can always email me, but you'll know where I'm at all the time. Let's open this up for just a second. And this is pretty typical, well, pretty typical. While you'll see the day, the time, and if the location is Oklahoma City, that means I'm not here, obviously. If it's Shawnee, I'm here. I got 2 offices I work from, and my Monday class, Monday I had a whole bunch of medical appointments to go to, and so my Monday class, I gave them a pre-recorded video. Here's what to do, get ready, blah, blah, blah. So they didn't have to worry about that. So I'm not, you know, I'm not going to waste your time by saying I'm gone next week to a conference, and you'll get to have someone sit and stare at you while you take a test. I don't believe in that. That's just my own opinion. I don't like that, because you pay good money to go to school here. So every minute ought to be used on instruction as much as possible, or be available for instruction. So the exams, all of the assignments in this are open, ready to go. So you can work at your own pace. As long as you get the assignment done in the time it's due, you're good. Okay? I think if you kind of work your way through this and think through, you'll go, oh, not bad. Pretty nice. So you can see I'm here today. And you can see my office hours for today. I'm here Wednesday. And that's management science course. And then I have office hours from noon to 4. And then Thursday I'm here, and you'll see office hours again. Friday it's a grab bag. It always varies. It just depends on what's going on. Okay? Now let's go back over to the announcements section and take a look. And so you've seen the schedule, okay, for this week for me. Okay? There's never any question, and you can email. Typically, if you email me, I will respond unless there's a lot of heavy-duty stuff going on. I typically will respond to your email within 8 to 10 hours at the most. Sometimes within, it just depends. I'm just like you. I get out and I get caught up on something, and I can't look at my email. I don't have time. Most of the time, though, I can catch it pretty quick and try to get you an answer. Fair enough? And if it's something that's really kind of complicated, what I will do sometimes is I'll go ahead and use Zoom, make a recording, and send it to you to say, okay, here's what I think is going on or what the problem is. Okay? There's a lot of ways we can use this technology and use it to our advantage. Now, you said, what else will I see in here? Well, after I'm finished recording this, I'll process it, and I'll post it to YouTube, and then I'll post the YouTube link here in the announcements area for today. Okay? With me? Well, let's talk about that for a minute. You've all looked at videos, but maybe you've never looked at instructional videos. But I know you all go look at videos on your phones and stuff like that. You know, the cat bites the dog, stuff like that. Okay. My wife's got one that's pretty cool. She posted. I should go to Facebook and send it to everybody. It's an egret, and it's standing on an alligator, and the caption under it says the egret's has got some Crocs. Pretty cool. It's this big, tall, white, spindly bird riding this crocodile. Anybody ever seen an egret? Pretty cool, aren't they? Blue herons, egrets. We get them out where we live all the time. They're incredible. The blue herons are beautiful things, and they have a huge wingspan. But they walk along the shore, and they watch for little fish, and you'll see them and they stop. And boom! I saw one time. It had grabbed it. I think one of my neighbors had dumped their koi in the lake. Koi, which are not adapted well to the wild, and he had his prize, and he flung it up on the shore, knowing the thing would probably suffocate. So I'm sure he had a meal or two. Anyway, I digress. Now, so this session will be recorded, all right? And let's talk about, all right, how do I ask a question? Well, if you're in here, it's fine. Lift your hand and go, hey, I got a question. If you're viewing live, when I'm streaming like I'm now, it's simple. There's a chat function, and you can shoot a chat message, and I'll try to answer it. No one else can see it. If it's a general kind of question that the whole class can see, fine. If it's not, I'll try to answer it and then probably email you later. But you can't ask questions. I don't have people I don't do vocal or use their microphone or do the video, because it takes too much screen, and it can create some screechy kinds of sounds. But you can't ask me questions if you're out there in viewing. Fair enough? Okay. Now let's talk about this. So, all right, what's your attendance policy? Here's my attendance policy. Let's take today, which would typically be a virtual day. My expectation is you will do one of the following. You will beam in and watch live, okay? Or you'll log into Canvas. You'll go and see the video by noon the next day, okay? You must log into Canvas. You have to. That's the classroom, okay? And it tracks and it records what you do. So always make sure you come into Canvas, you log into it. And I'll have the link in there so you will have attended. So you don't have to worry about that. Otherwise, if you're here, hey, you've logged into Canvas, I know you're here, and I get a report from it that tells me who's attended or not. Okay? So it keeps a record of everything. Come on in. Now, let's talk about how Canvas is organized. Everybody with me so far? Anybody's not in on the video at this point? Okay. Okay. You having some trouble with login? Okay. Try to work through it, but again, here's an example. You don't have to freak, because I'll put the video over there for you. Okay. Yes.
So when you're speaking, you have something so if we're like not in class and we're listening to it, will we be able to hear you?
Yeah, sure. If you've got a list, if you're on your machine, you got the audio on, sure, you'll hear me. Yeah. In here it's kind of difficult because they've killed off the sound and the video, so you won't do dirty stuff or whatever they think you'll do. And you probably would, looking at this crowd, I'm sure. I'm making a joke. That was a joke. But the sound, yeah. So now you can view these from a phone, a tablet, a laptop, or a tower. A tower meaning one of these big things, hulking things that are under your desks. I really don't think you can hear. You can use your phone to hear, but frankly, when I had someone come see me and they'll show me a phone and go, I don't understand this Excel file, and I'm going, well, your screen's about this big. So yeah, think about that. All right. Now you could use it if you have a machine that you don't have audio. You can always use the phone with the visual to get the sound and the visual. Got me? Okay. I had somebody last semester came and said, I'm really having trouble doing this, and they showed me they had their iPhone. I'm going, it's probably, we're not ready for that yet. Someday it will be. So what you'll be able to expect at sometime tonight, probably, or early, probably tonight, will be a YouTube video link that will have this whole session. Okay? So you'll never miss anything. Now, let's go down to another part of Canvas. All right? Go down to the modules section. Click on it. Okay? The modules is organized either on a chronological or topical basis. I put it in a chronological basis. Okay? So you'll see week 0, week 1. That's where you'll find the stuff that's due, what we'll be doing in the class, etc. The assignments. Now, I have a welcome area that has a whole bunch of resources in it. Okay? Some of these will be using in some exams. Some of these will be using in what I call workshops. You say, what do you mean by a workshop? Let's talk about that. This course is designed primarily to introduce you to some common business problems, but also to help you understand how I can use a spreadsheet or use a database to collect some information, take that information and put it into some format that's actionable. That is, I can use it to make a decision. One of your textbooks, the great big one, the few text, says, show me the numbers. Why did I give you that? It's simple. Human beings are programmed to recognize patterns, not tables of numbers, okay? So when you're out there in business and you go to work, you're going to be using a thing that people call a dashboard. It's going to depend, and the types of data that you'll see and the detail will depend upon the industry you're in, and it's going to depend upon how your level in the company. That dashboard is just like the dashboard of your car. It'll tell you key performance indicators. Okay, and if you understand the basics of spreadsheeting and you understand the basics of a database as an end user, you'll be able to use any product that your employer has. And the one thing that will set you apart from others that will set you apart from people who are out there applying for jobs is everybody's going to understand how to use spreadsheets. Few of them will know how to use a database. As an end user, why would I use it? What does it do for me? What does it tell me? Okay. So our intention is not to turn you into geeks. Our intention is just to simply tell you that businesses are collecting so much data so fast they don't know what to do with it. The amount of total data that's collected every year grows by 33% a year. Okay. If you're a weather junkie like I am and you watch the weather, or you watch the Weather Channel, you look and you see all the graphics and this stuff, and or the guy in Channel 5 goes, the tornadoes at 19th and Chardell. How do they know that? Well, they've got extremely high-speed computers that can handle trillions of bits of data and convert them into nice images for us. Images that will go from really heavy rain to red to green or really dark green or whatever they fix for the choropleth for that day to show you the extremes. And then the temperatures and all the graphics. The graphics you see on these things, I was your age, didn't exist. They didn't know. Now they have all these graphics. And everybody, and this is all now filtered into business. How do we help people see or understand how the company's performing? Well, we learn to use these tools to create some type of image or sets of images that tell the story a little better than a table of data. Okay? Yes, me? So if you really want to see the best people in the world handling data, it's meteorologists. The weather that you look at, you have no idea how incredibly advanced they are. And it's becoming the same kind of issues are confronting us as business people. We have to have good data that we can take and turn it into information. Information is data that's actionable. I can do something with it. Okay? About our customers, our competitors, our products, our supply chain, all of that stuff in real time. We have to, that's the world we're in. And companies compete on the basis of analytics. And if I'm not mistaken, I included the textbook Competing on Analytics so that you can get a taste and an understanding of what that's all about. How many of you have ever heard of Capital One? Okay, what's in your wallet? Capital One runs 10,000 experiments a year with their data sets. And what they do is they'll say, okay, if we give this offer of an interest rate and this level of credit, or we're going to bump their credit limit up a little bit at this interest rate or this term, how will they respond? Will they say, okay, yeah, or will I be able to sell some more credit cards? Why do they do it? Because as many experiments they do, for every one, they start to figure out what do people want. Because you can get a credit card from just about anybody. And I know you believe me because you get the stuff through the mail all the time, don't you? See, universities are identity thieves' favorite place. Why? Because you're young enough to have a little bit of credit, but not old enough to have too much. So you're just waiting for them to build you into an identity. We get hacked, or they have attempts on hacks here probably 3 times a week. Identity thieves love young people's data. Well, I digress. Anyway, let's look down here at, and we see this module has all this data in it. And you're going to see, as we scroll on down, you'll find the syllabus in there, all kinds of different resources that I'll have available for you. And then you're going to see the point distribution. At the end of each module, you'll see the following, the point distribution, okay? How do I get an A, B, whatever, what kinds of assignments do I have to do? Does that make sense? Okay. All right. 2, the resources for quizzes and exams. Okay, what quiz number 1 or exam number 1, what's covered in that? Well, I've got that listed for you. Okay. The resources for the Microsoft Excel cases. Where are those at? I've got that there for you. And then the same in terms of the access cases. Fair enough? Now, let me share something with you that took me a long time to learn. I understood this. Okay? If you get a fundamental understanding of a spreadsheet and how it works and what it will typically look like, you're way ahead. It's like learning to drive a car, okay? Now, every one of you in this room, if you have a driver's license, I'll bet you could drive a Ferrari. You might wrap yourself around a tree, not knowing the power and understanding gear ratios and all that stuff, but you could drive a Ferrari. But for now, you'll take a nice car to drive it. You might graduate yourself up. The same with the database. What you're going to find is, as we work through these, the scariness when you go to work, someone says, okay, we'll use Oracle. You're going to see that Oracle, their application is, oh, okay, this looks a lot like Access, or it's organized in the same way, and you're good to go. That makes sense? I didn't make up the rules that everything is so data-driven. Okay? I didn't make up the rules that you're going to have to function in a global economy. But you do. Even the smallest business is impacted by global economics. Somebody give me a guess. How many airplanes do you think are in the air right now over the continental United States? Take a guess. What do you think? 10,000. You're close, about 12,000. 12,000. Landing, taking off, flying, and none of them run into each other. How does that happen? Because we've used data and analytics to build this incredible network system that controls these flights. It's like a miracle. Walmart is the same thing. I had a gentleman one time long ago who had been over in the Eastern Bloc countries. He'd been in Poland, and he'd lived under the Soviets. And he came to the United States, and we hosted him and all this, and we took him to Walmart. And he almost fell on his knees. He said, this is a miracle. He said, I stand in line for a piece of bread for 6 hours. You have 715 kinds of toothpaste. How do they do it? Analytics, marketing, logistics. That's the world you're in. All of it real-time data. So there's some great opportunities for you. Now there's some creepiness to this because, as you know, if you're on Facebook like me, they know all about me. or they think they do. I switch parties every month, so I get stuff from the Republicans, and then I get stuff from the Democrats. So so Facebook, they're not quite sure what to do with me. Okay, and I'll look at cat videos, and then I'll put I don't like cat videos, and they'll try dog, because I understand on Facebook, you and I are the product, our data. And you guys will have to figure out if you want to make them pay you for the data, or if your privacy rights are violated, what they ought to do to pay you or compensate you. Nonetheless, let's look at week 0. That's today. And we're doing a little bit of an intro. And we were going to do the XLS review. We'll do that on Thursday. The workshops are pretty simple. I'll tell you what material we're going to use. We'll walk through it. I'll say, okay, here's what's going on. Here's how we could tweak it, etc. And then you turn in and you get the credit. If you could do all of these, you could teach the course. But I want to show you how to do them without that pressure, okay? So that I'm more interested in your understanding than I am in, to do keystrokes. That makes sense? And how to take a piece of software and make a story or make a point. Let's see if I can find this one. Okay, here, go back up into the welcome area, and there's a file there I'd like you to see, and it's called Anscombe's Quartet. You see that? Click on that link, and I want to show you something interesting. But that's part of what we're trying to convey with you, okay? Now, I'm going to download this file, okay? And typically what I do is I download, I show it in the folder, okay? And then I throw it on the desktop. So I'm going to throw Anscombe over here, okay? There's Cardinal Buddy. My wife and I are friends, are fans. We're friends with Cardinal. I'm Fred Bird and I are like this. Anybody know who Fred Bird is? Just like this. Now, ladies, I think you'll agree you're looking at a saint. You say, why are you looking at a saint? Well, let me tell you what I did 3 summers ago. I took my wife to see Dancing with the Stars live. That takes a real man. Interestingly, I got to meet some of the people, the gentlemen who do that. And let me tell you something. On TV, but in person, they looked like they could play in the NFL. Those guys were, like ripped. And I was going, whoa, these people are exceptionally great athletes. But I'm a saint. I took her and I sat through the whole thing. All right, wonderful. Hold your applause. All right, let's look at this Anscombe thing. What in the world are we talking about? Here's something very interesting. Now, I'll take this jewel and I'm going to put it into a full screen size. We'll enable the editing. Okay, I'll pull you down here. Now, here's 4 sets of data, 4 sets of numbers. We've run what we call summary statistics on them. We've got the mean, the variance, and the correlation, okay? And do you notice anything about them? Well, it's 2 sets of data, X and Y, and they're the same. They've got the same mean, they've got the same summary statistics. But let me show you something interesting. Let's look at chart number 1. Here's the first data set. They don't look so different, do they? Well, they do. They're correlated. And we call this a positive correlation. But let's look at chart number 2. Now we start to see a little bit of difference. Same data, but when we chart them, what's going on here? Here's chart number 3. These are the same data, aren't they? They have the same summary scores. And then we have chart number 4. You say this makes no sense until you understand that we use graphics, tables, charts, etc., so we can display the image of those data so we can portray them as they are, not fitting into a table. You with me? So that's very important. That's how we come to understand, is something increasing? Is it decreasing? What's happening with it? Now, I'd like to take you over to a site real quickly. And so let's go ahead and go to our browser and click on your browser tab, click on in. And let's do a search. And we're going to do a search for ESRI Tapestry. This is an interesting site. And you'll see the zip lookup for Esri. Okay? Now, these folks are probably the very best people in the world at taking data and displaying them and using spatial information. Okay? The very best. They are so good that every year they simulate the United States census. They have an algorithm that does that. They have a challenge every year where they'll take 5 transactions with just 1 or 2 pieces of information about the transaction. And in 24 hours, they have that complete history of the transaction, who made it, where it happened, etc. Unbelievable. You're going to need this type of capabilities. Your company will, so you understand your customers, your competitors, what's happening out in the world, what's happening with our supply chain, what's happening inside of our company. How do we handle getting stuff? I'm Applebee's. I have only so many square feet, but I've got to get food in there and food out, and I've got to have servers and people and all this stuff going on. How do I do all that? And how would I portray the performance of that store? A big, big, big challenge. Well, let's go down here, and we're going to explore our community's characteristics. So I'm going to click Start Exploring, and I'm going to enter a zip code. Okay. What's the zip code for Shawnee? 7374. Is it 74804? All right. Now notice here, I can select topics. Why would I be interested in population density? Talk to me. You know this, but why would I be interested in population density? Exactly. Are there enough people clustered in that place? Yes. Would I put a McAllister's in the middle of Wyoming? Why not? It's pretty up there. In Wyoming? When you go to Wyoming, it makes you feel small, doesn't it? That landscape is just, that's what I like about the American West. You go out west, it's never 6 miles to wherever, it's so-and-so at 7,000 feet. You go to Wyoming and you see those tremendous, just these rolling hills where those glaciers came down and just ripped that baby out. Well, I don't have any people there. So population density. Why would I care about the median age? Because I don't like old people like you. I want to be with young people. I understand that. That's fine. Or I'm an old person, I don't want people like you. Stay out of my gated community. You'll mess up the shuffleboards. Median age. Because we know people at certain ages buy certain stuff. So we could choose that. We can choose monthly credit card charges. Let's click on that. And let's also click on let's see. Let's take median age and monthly credit card charges and click and we'll see the results. Now this is for zip codes. This is just their baby tool. The one that you would pay for the commercial tool takes you down literally to the block level in every one of these zip codes, down to the block, house by house where people live. Incredible sets of data. And you can see here, they give you the segment description, kind of a lifestyle. This is the golden age of marketing. You set up a website, e-commerce website, e-tailer. People come in. You've got technology now that tells you how long they were there, where they came from, what did they click on, what kind of machine were they probably using. And once they've got that, they start to run with the data, and the data are out there of who you are, how much you make, et cetera, et cetera. You have a big challenge. You want to sell stuff to people. You want to make people happy by getting the things that they like. At the same time, there's a creepiness, isn't there? I go online and I shop for something, and for the next 2 weeks, I've got banner ads and pop-up ads trying to sell me all kinds of stuff like that. Okay? Now, here we see, and they give us the comparisons of the zip code versus the county versus the state. Notice they've used little bar charts. And there's the zip code, the county, monthly credit charges. Isn't that cool? That's a freebie out there. I can take the addresses of my clients, my customers, and there are little mapping tools out there. I could paste them in from an Excel sheet, and it'll show me a map of where they're located. Why do I care? Well, I want to know where they are. I want to know how much I'm going to have to spend on shipping. Where would I put my stores? Where would I put my plant, etc. So this is the type of tool that's out there, and folks that are using these and get a sense of it are really going to be the people who get ahead. And notice this, I can beam it down and I can put it into perspective. So I'm basically using a map, several maps, like a database where I'm just going down. Why would I want to do that? Well, I want to see where that county, that zip code is in relation to all the other zip codes in that area. Where is it in relation to roads, rivers, etc.? That make sense? So we get you started on the path to thinking like that. Then you can make good decisions. All right. Let's go back over into Canvas, and we'll go back into the modules. There are, in a modern airliner, for example, 12,000 of those things are up there flying around. Cargo planes, planes full, some of them filled with 300, 400, 500 people. You usually have a crew of 4 because the machines are so complex that you got to have that many people watching the dashboards. And when they have fatal accidents, typically what happens is they've responded in the wrong way to what the data are telling them. Or there's a cultural issue involved of some kind. Now, as we go down through the modules, let's talk about for just a moment the analytical cube. Let me get there before we go there. Click on that. Now what you'll notice here is that this shows you some what we call dimensions: product, retailer, date, sales data. How much did I sell from my website at 12:30 on Tuesday, January 29th, 2019? How much did I sell in terms of dollar volume? Did people use any discount or reward coupons? What did they buy? And if I'm Amazon, the next time I go back there, they'll do what? People who bought junk like you bought tend to also buy so-and-so because they have what they call a recommendation engine where they're going to cross-sell you. And behind them is a thing called AWS, Amazon Web Services. If you watch sports, you'll probably see that some of the, I think maybe Fox uses them, maybe CBS. Amazon Web Services is their analytics and database engine. Governments, the largest companies in the world, they make more money with that thing than they do e-tailing. And if you're a sports junkie, you're living in the golden age. If you don't believe me, go back to YouTube and watch some of the football games of the 70s and 80s, and you'll go, this looks really crude. Today it's, Tom Brady, he's in his team colors, and you see a little Tom, and you see the football go, and and you see the guy come over and hit the other guy, helmet to helmet, and the call wasn't made. But hey, who cares? I'm not saying because they were from California, those refs were biased. I'm not saying that at all. And I'm saying that the NFL wanted to have a team in the East Coast versus a team in the West Coast, the evil empire in the form of the Patriots versus the Rams. But what a matchup. They couldn't deal with Patrick Mahomes because he throws the ball sideways this way and fools the camera. And they don't like to look stupid. That guy's incredible. I watched one game. I'm not much of an NFL fan. I'm more of a college football fan. But I watched one Sunday. He was unbelievable. He's not on throw the ball here. I'm going, whoa. What can I say? But if you're a sports junkie, you got graphics, don't you? Any baseball fans? Any of us left? If you are, you know, we're stat junkies, aren't we? On Saturdays, when he's had Mexican tacos, if he's batting left-handed, he tends to hit the ball to the left field. We know that. So the opposing umpire brings in someone who throws down and away. So he'll hit the ball and we'll get a double play. That's why you see those managers there chomping at the bit. You know, I'm sick of these people telling me how to play baseball. I've played it since 1912. I have no. Well, that's a good picture of the kinds of things that we're trying to do. The whole thing is to get us to a point where we have a better understanding of what's going on with our company, our customers, and what's in the world. Let's click on the modules again. And you say to yourself, this guy is really, he's almost manic. He's pumped about this. Wouldn't you rather I would that I would go, oh, okay, let's take a debit. And let's take a credit. And let's marry the two of them. And let's put them in the ledger. And there you go. You're going to jail. You didn't do it right. Okay? Now, one of the things that I want, you never know. I may not survive this week. Okay? So here's a piece of advice. Now, normally, I teach a course that's called the Perp Walk. It's the J-turn course. So if you get arrested on fraud charges, what to do? There's two things. First of all, cover your face so no one sees you. And number two, tell them, I went to OU. Okay? How many of you know that Justin Timberlake is a graduate of OU? That's a lie. It's not true. You go, ooh. Whatever. He's probably old. I don't know who you people listen to. Lord knows it. It hurts my ears. All right, let's put on week number 1. We'll talk some about this some more. Here is, you'll see we've got upload XLS1 here. Okay, that's going to be due on the 8th of February. We'll work on it. I'll show you what we're going to be doing with it. It's whistle cleaners. I'll show you how we take that and get some information from it, maybe embellish it, etc. Because we'll be typically starting with some raw data sets, or sometimes we'll be starting with some data sets that, or a spreadsheet that is a tremendous example of how to do it. My main thing for you is that you leave here with a healthy appreciation of what's happening out there in the world. And number 2, that you start to think about data patterns. How do they occur in my industry? What am I seeing when I look at a chart? Where did I get those numbers? Are they valid? Are they real? Are they good? Because when you go to work out there and you're playing around with other people's money, if you mess up, it's not nice. Running a business or starting a business is the most courageous thing anybody can do in this world. Because if you mess up, you can hurt a lot of people's lives. You could start a company, run it in the ground, and unemploy 5 or 10, 15, 20,000 people and do tremendous harm. So your first rule is do no harm. Anybody ever heard the scripture or the saying of our Lord? It's what? Be wise as serpents and Harmless as does. What was he saying there? He was saying, be smart, but do no harm. So that's something for us to think about. Now, you'll see we have like a quiz, and you'll find there's a resource that will tell you where I find the information for the financial ratios quiz. I'm going to click on it for just a moment, okay? And you'll see the number of points it is, how many attempts you get, how long you have, and then it takes the highest recorded score. Got it? Okay. All righty. Are you absorbing this? Are you or are you out shopping for shoes? We watch you, young people. We know every single thing you do, every moment. You didn't know that, did you? You get creeped out? Yeah. You guys are tame. Let me tell you about how it was when I was here. Because every chapel you attend for the next 4 years, you will hear that. But mine will be far more exciting and interesting. When I first came here, my first semester, young ladies were told, you cannot wear a dress. No dresses. Only if it was 20 degrees or below, you could wear no pants, no slacks. You could wear a dress over your slacks. Otherwise, no jeans. If you came out of your dorm wearing jeans, like some of you ladies have, or slacks, whatever, the dorm mother would go, you need to go put some clothes on and come back. Instructors would say, you'll have to leave, young lady, you're not dressed appropriately. How did we solve that problem? I didn't, but the ladies, courageous group of senior ladies who lived over in Kurt Dorm, at homecoming, they put out a banner and it said, OBU women have no pants. And that solved it. You have dances now, right? Dancing in my day was the road to hell. My mom and dad said, you ain't going to no dance. Now, if you get liquored up and go out to the park, hey, that's different. But no dancing. That's not true. There's no liquoring up at the park. The strongest thing I had when I was growing up was a Dr. Pepper that sat in the sun too long. I grew up in a very sheltered environment, and I'm so happy I did. My parents were good people. You have a challenging world in which you live. God bless you. Now, let me stop for a minute and see if I can answer some questions. Oh, I forgot to tell you about chapel. You want to hear a chapel story? Am I boring you? Or is this an interesting insight? It's your chapel story, okay? I'm not saying that I did it. I'm not saying I was involved. But when we'd have speakers that we weren't really too happy they were there, we'd take marbles and roll them. We was like the whole student body. I wouldn't reveal it. I did. I heard about this. But they'd take marbles and roll them. And at that time, I guess they had carpet under there, but the marbles would just go down the front of the stage. Then one of the other my favorite was to take ladies' undergarments, okay, and put them on a balloon and let them float up during the chapel session. You think you're wild. You're the wild bunch. You're time. How many of you have ever heard of Belshazzar? Oh my goodness gracious. What a bunch of heathens. Belshazzar was our live bison mascot. We had one. He was over there in what is now the parking lot for the Nobles Center. He had a giant cage he was taken care of by a group of gentlemen called the Chips, which I think is quite appropriate. And he was a real live bison. You go out there in the morning, you'd see him. Yeah. Air come out and you go, hey, what's happening, boy? And during basketball games, they'd have dry ice and they'd bring him right out. And make sure they didn't feed him too much, well, obvious reasons. But we had a real live bison. Now the ones we have over here are cool. They're cool. But a real live bison. Someday you will say, over there on one of those hills, there's plenty of room for Belshazzar, the new one. Colorado's got Ralphie. What's the name of that state down south of here?
Bevo.
Yeah, Bevo, right. They're not. Are they still part of the United States? Haven't we kicked them out yet? Not yet. I'm teasing. I'm making a joke. But Bevo, have Bevo. Yeah. Well, what do we have? We have Belshazzar. Go look about it. I think it was last was 13th. A real live bison. Wouldn't that be cool? Much better than somebody wearing a padded outfit. All that kind of stuff. Get a real one. Well, I'm out of stories. Yeah, I've got a few more, but I can't tell those. It was a different time, but it was fun. We made our own fun. We didn't have all these, we didn't have shoot 'em up games and stuff like that where you could go into, warfare, this or that, and you're blowing people away. In my neighborhood, we played sticks and rocks. You know what that was? You'd toss a coin, and one team would have sticks, and the other team would have rocks. It was violent. Hit somebody with a stick, or throw the stick, or you throw the rocks. There's no, that's how it works. How did I survive without a child restraint seat? How did I make it? But you have them now. Some of them, they're designed, it looks like something for the NASA. Yes. Put the kid in there and they're in this encased thing. But we didn't have any of those video games. We just beat on each other, Or if you were like me and you had older siblings who didn't like you, they threw me in the trunk. Everywhere they went, I rode in the trunk. And we get to Sonic, and the car hops they called them car hops then. They'd come out and take your order. Well, I guess they still did. And they go, what do you want? I'd like a Coke, please. And they'd open the trunk. I could have my Coke, but then the trunk went back down. My siblings didn't like me. But I did mean stuff to them, so I got what I deserved. Why have I shared that with you? Why? Because maybe some of you are having those same experiences. I don't know. But treasure your college times. They're great times. Treasure them. Okay. Now, there's some other sections as we blow through Canvas, and we'll get more focused on the assignment. Look in the files section, okay? And it is exactly what it says. All the files that are used here are over here in Canvas. Now, there are some of these I'm going to have to go in and publish them, and others that I won't. But all the files that you're going to be using are here. And I will always, on exams, I'll give you, your exams will be, quizzes are pretty straightforward. They're out of the book. They're, true, false, that type of thing. The exams are, I'll give you some objective part, and then I'll give you a hands-on part. So the workshops are where you kind of get cued in on, okay, well, how am I going to do this for the hands-on? And I'll give you very extensive instructions on how to get that stuff done. So you can come over here, and you can use the files section to look for stuff. Make sense? All righty. Let's see what else. Yeah, let me stop for a minute. Any questions? How do I drop? I'd do it soon. Yes. I'm sorry? Open book, open notes. Yes. And you can do them when you want up to the point when they're due. Now, because I make these so accessible to you, they're there for you to work on any day. I'm pretty hard-nosed on late work. I think rightfully so. You can go home and they're there for you to work on. So you're open book, open note. I have time limits. Some of them you can take multiple attempts. You say, well, why do you do that? Well, my key reason is this. I don't think that it does you much good to try to memorize because I don't know what all you need to memorize. Okay? I wouldn't pretend to tell you that you can memorize these 600 things and you've got it all down about how to analyze business problems and how to take them and put them into some type of format someone understands so we can make a decision. I do know this. When you're out in the world and you're working, when something stumps you, what will you do? You look it up or go try to find somebody who can help you. So I don't get all hepped up about it. Okay? Now I would prefer that you understand. I really do want you to do these on your own. But if you have a study group or something like that, I'm good. Fair enough? The most challenging part of this course will be the hands-on. The second most challenging part will be when I turn you loose with some projects. And let's go back over to the modules and I want to talk about that for just a moment. All right. Go down to week 13. And you'll see something called no class flex time, work on week 14 assignments. What does that say to you? I'm giving you no class time to spend the time you would have spent in class to do what? Work on that, the assignments for week 14, because they're more like projects. If at this point I can't turn you loose with the project and trust that you'll do it and get it done on time, I'm not sure what I can trust you to do, because your boss will do that. And so you might as well get used to that now. And it just depends on what your experiences have been up to this point, the extent to which you've had the opportunities to do that. So part of this is just teaching you how to be a little bit more, maybe self-starters, take responsibility for your time, manage your time. So I give you a flex time there. Now, during flex time, I'm available to help out if you have a question, okay? And all you have to do is call my number here in Bailey, and you get a laughing sound. Ha, 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 ha. No, that's not true. That is a lie. I'll be available to help you out, okay? Now, week 14, that's no class. There's no class. It's flex time to work on week 14 assignments, and then also you'll be working on your final. Let's look at the finals. Let's talk about those for just a moment. Is this making sense? Do I sound like a lunatic? Okay, but you caught me sober, so it's a good day. I'm teasing. I don't have any problem like that. I do have Tourette's at about 3 o'clock, so watch out. I don't have Tourette's. I'm just saying something to have some fun. You come into your major in business and you got all these serious people. And it's true. If you go bankrupt, people do not like you. But have fun on the way. As a wee lad, my cousin worked at a place in Oklahoma City called Penn Square Bank, which is famous for a huge scandal. And you can go read about them in the annals of history. But I was a gopher. I would run and get stuff for her, materials and bank records and things of that nature. I was a high school kid. But the guy who was the president of Penn Square Bank, I don't know. I think they went through about $500 million of money from people around the United States who thought that the oil patch here was just happening. But the guy, he was fun. He was fun. He'd show up to work every day dressed as a superhero. This is true. He'd drive up, he'd be Batman. He'd order pizza for everybody, including the customers in the place. And meanwhile, the bank was making some really bad loans. If you had a degree in engineering from OU and you had a pulse, they'd give you $1 million, whether you had oil to find or you knew what to do at all. But they had fun. I'm just glad I was a wee lad. I was not in trouble. All right, let's look at this. Final exam, part 1. Okay, I have some instruction. I have instructions there for you. it's a screencast. It'll tell you what I want you to do, all right? And that's due before the start of the final exam period, those types of project things. And then final exam part 2 is a quiz. It's due at the end of the final exam period. Don't try to do the projects and the exam all in 2 hours. It will not happen. Okay? That's why I let you turn in the project stuff at the start of their due by the start of the final exam period, and then you have the 2 hours to work on that. Does that make sense? Anybody have any questions? You're responsible to turn it in, get it done. I'll be here during the final exam period in case someone has trouble. And that's a good question. Let me say this. If during the final exam period you are on the OBU system and something happens, okay, you're good. If you're not on the system, that's a different problem. So I really encourage you, try to get it done before the final exam period, all of it. So if something happens, we can go back. Because once we go past the magic 10 a.m., they put me back over at the institution, and it'll be another 3 months before I'm back out. That's not true. That's not true. Have I scared you that badly? I'm sorry. You look like you're pretty calm. You hanging in there? Okay. Did you have lunch today? What'd you have? Chicken. And what else? You had chicken and what else? Spinach and rice. Chicken, spinach, and rice? Are you an athlete? Yeah. Oh, they got you eating healthy, don't they? Yeah, all right. Well, have a cigarette later and make up for it. I'm just kidding. You're going to have to learn that about me. I make jokes. Why not? All right. Well, there's one of 2 things that we'll do now. Unless someone has a question, I'm going to take up an offering. Yes.
Can I leave? I realize that this is not my class.
I'm sorry?
This is not my class. So I just realized.
You're in the wrong class.
I know.
But wouldn't you rather be in?
Yeah, it was for the first.
But you'd rather be. Who are you supposed to be with?
I don't know, international manager.
Oh, Dr. Cragen?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I'm more fun than him.
Yeah?
No. International management's good. They talk about drug lords and stuff. You'll enjoy it.
Yeah, but I'm not.
I'm kidding. We better go see him. Thank you. I enjoyed it. Thank you. Incredible. They come from everywhere, don't they? Isn't that amazing? And he was so scared to get him saying it. Anybody else in the wrong class? This is physics, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh, okay, thank God. All right. Now, I am pretty relaxed about all this, but let me say one thing, and it's this, and I'll let you go for real. I'm relaxed, I make jokes, etc. But I want to emphasize to you that if you choose a career in business, you're choosing a career that takes a lot of courage. My parents were entrepreneurs, and I understood what they went through as they built their businesses. And I've been out there, and I can tell you that when it starts involving money, people get ugly fast. And so we want to do all we can to give you the tools to avoid the kinds of meltdowns or situations that you don't want to be in. But the wonderful thing about business is this. There are really 2 things. First of all, this is a way that you can really bless people's lives. I hope when you go out this week, maybe you go eat somewhere or you buy something online or whatever, you think about the fact that if it shows up or the meal's good, etc., you've had a blessing in your life. And so if we're servants of our Lord and we really want to have a witness for him, that's one of the ways we can by making people's lives a little bit better and not doing harm to them. When you are out in business, you also have, for now, in this period of time, the greatest place in the world to reach people or to demonstrate that you're salt and light. Businesses They're the place in the 21st century where human beings can be influenced and they can be reached, because these are places where people see how you live your life. And so I hope that you'll be the best one in the room. You'll be the smartest people and the most compassionate and the most loving and caring, because that's how we reach people. Did you know that by 2030, I think, or 2050, somewhere between there, China will have the largest number of Christians in the world? Is that incredible? If you're interested in the mission field and you want to do something, a business degree would get you into, say, maybe working in people who disaster relief, or into logistics, handling those kinds of situations. A business degree can also, if you want to go into some places that are dark and there's no word whatsoever, this degree will get you in the door. I have many of my students, my advisees, who've gone on to places that nobody else can get in because they have a business degree. And they can be a witness if you choose to do that. That would be up to you. But the main thing is, if you remember that what our job is to do is to make people's lives better, that in itself is a great testimony and a great witness. I'll close with this. My parents were entrepreneurs. As a young tyke, I worked for my mom and dad. I remember one day I was working and I asked my dad, I said, why are we doing this? And he said, because people have to eat. He was in the grocery and restaurant business. Simple, people have to eat. My mom was sold Avon, so she was in multi-level marketing before anybody knew what it was all about. And I thought going to church, first 7-8 years of my life, I thought going to church was just to be the bag man for my mom. Because who's going to tell some fat little kid, my mom says you owe $3 for Avon. Yeah. And so I was the bag man. I collected money. I asked her one day, I said, when I was in high school, I said, why do you do this? And she said, it's very simple. If someone feels like they look better, they feel better about themselves. That's a pretty good mission statement, isn't it? That's what you had the opportunity to do. Thank you so much. If you have some more questions, you can email me. I will see you online or in class on Thursday. God bless you, folks. Thank you much.